They say the worst kind of heartbreak is the one you never saw coming. But I did. I saw it all unfolding, piece by piece, while he smiled at me like nothing was changing. And the craziest part? I didn't scream. I didn't beg. I didn't even cry in front of him. I just disappeared. My name is Aisha. I'm 28, an interior designer living in Islamabad. And this story isn't about revenge. It's about quiet strength, painful choices, and how sometimes, love doesn't end, it just takes the long way home. It all started when I met Ryan. Tall, soft-spoken, with the kind of eyes that made you want to spill every secret. We met at a friend's wedding. Cliché, I know, but when he offered me a slice of cake while we were both hiding near the buffet to avoid dancing, I laughed so hard I nearly choked. That's how we began, with laughter. For 2 years, Ryan and I built something real. We weren't perfect. No relationship is, but we were comfortable and happy, and when things got hard, we talked. At least I thought we did. But something changed when Alina came back into his life. She was his college friend, just a friend he used to talk about with a casual shrug. But I noticed the late replies, the sudden need for space, the phone calls he took outside. And every time I looked at him, it felt like I was looking at someone standing in two worlds. One foot with me, the other still clinging to someone who once had his heart. Then one night, over coffee that had gone cold between us, he told me, Aisha, I think I still have feelings for Alina. Just like that. No warning. No apology. Just a simple confession, like it was something he'd been rehearsing. And what did I do? I nodded. I smiled, yes, smiled, and I said, thank you for being honest. Then I packed my things that same night, left the key on the table, and walked out without looking back. I didn't get mad. I didn't break down. But the silence I left behind? That shattered him more than any screaming ever could. For weeks he tried to call. Messages poured in. Apologies. Regrets. Can we talk? I made a mistake. Please just meet me once. But I didn't reply. Not because I hated him, but because I loved myself more than his confusion. And while he was spiraling, I was healing. Alone, yes, but free. What Ryan didn't know, what he couldn't know, is that love like ours doesn't vanish that easily. It lingers. It grows in the silence. It haunts you in ways even the loudest breakups can't. He thought I'd move on. He thought he would too. But some hearts only beat for one person. And when that person walks away, you realize just how empty love feels in someone else's arms. So when fate brought us back together years later in the most unexpected place, everything came rushing back. But by then, everything had changed. And the question wasn't just, does he still love me? It was, can he earn me back? People think heartbreak is loud. A storm of tears, shouting, dramatic exits. But the truth is, it's quiet. It's sitting across from the person you love and realizing they're not looking at you the same way anymore. That's the part that breaks you. After I left Ryan, I didn't tell anyone. Not even my closest friends. I told myself it was dignity, but maybe it was shame. How do you explain to people that the man who once memorized your coffee order just forgot how to love you? But love doesn't just vanish. Not real love. I moved into a friend's spare room. I spent my days working on client projects, designing perfect homes for people living perfect lives, or at least pretending to. And every night I'd lie awake wondering if he missed me, or if Alina had finally taken my place in his arms. The truth? She had. But not in the way I feared. Ryan and Alina had a history. They met in college, dated briefly, then drifted apart when careers pulled them in opposite directions. She was always the one who got away, and I guess a part of him never truly let her go. But when she came back, it stirred old memories, and he confused nostalgia with love. I wasn't angry at her. She didn't steal him. He made a choice. But what he didn't realize then was that sometimes, going back only reminds you why you left in the first place. Meanwhile, Ryan was unraveling. At first, he believed he'd made the right call. Familiarity felt safe. But safe doesn't always mean right. Alina wasn't the girl he remembered. She had her own demons, her own wounds, and she wasn't there to fix his. And me? I was learning how to exist without him. But healing isn't linear. I'd walk past cafes we loved and feel my chest tighten. I'd hear a voice that sounded like his and my heart would skip before reason caught up. And yet I never called. Not once. Still, I couldn't forget one moment. The night we danced in the rain. It was during monsoon season. I had just gotten a big project confirmed, and he showed up outside my apartment with takeaway and 2 cheap plastic raincoats. We laughed, danced under the downpour like idiots, soaked and shivering, and in that moment I thought, this is it. This is forever. But forever doesn't always last. Now months had passed. I thought I was over it, until I ran into his mother at the grocery store. She hugged me too long, her eyes full of questions she didn't ask. She told me he looked lost, that he barely left his apartment, that he still kept a framed photo of us in his room. I smiled politely, but something inside me cracked. Had he truly broken too? Later that night I opened my laptop. My inbox had 47 unread messages, all from him. The latest one read, "I never stopped loving you. I just got scared. And now I'm terrified I've lost you for good." And for the first time since I left, I didn't delete it. I stared at his message for what felt like hours. "I never stopped loving you." 8 words that hit harder than any apology. But this wasn't a movie where love letters solved everything. Real life came with scars. And mine hadn't faded. I didn't reply. Not yet. But I didn't delete it either. That was the first crack in the wall I'd built around my heart. The next morning I met Zara, my best friend since university, for breakfast. She was the only one who knew the full story now. "You're not the same girl who walked away that night," she said, sipping her chai. "So if you ever do decide to go back, don't go back as her." Her words stayed with me, because deep down I knew she was right. Ryan might still love me, but was he ready for the woman I'd become? That week I threw myself into a new project, redesigning a boutique hotel in Murray. Perfect distraction, or so I thought. But life had other plans. Because on the second day of the site visit, Ryan showed up. I didn't see him at first. I was busy directing the team, reviewing material samples, and pretending my heart hadn't been held hostage by one stupid email. Then I turned. And there he was, standing near the garden archway in a gray sweater and jeans, looking like a memory I hadn't invited. For a second, no one said anything. Then I took a slow breath, walked over and asked, "What are you doing here?" "I found out about your project," he said softly. "I just wanted to see you. No pressure. Just to see if you're okay." I should have told him to leave, but I didn't. I let him stay. For the rest of the day, he watched from a distance, not interfering, not speaking unless spoken to. And somehow that hurt more than any words could. Because I could see the regret in his eyes. The way he looked at me like he was afraid I'd vanish again. That night he sent another message. "You don't have to talk to me. I just needed to see you standing in your element. You've grown. And I'm proud of you. Even if I'm not part of your story anymore." And just like that he walked away again. But the silence he left behind this time? It wasn't cold. It wasn't bitter. It was heavy and kind. The next morning I couldn't focus. My assistant noticed my distracted mood. "That guy yesterday, he seemed important," she said gently. I nodded. He was. Maybe still is. That's the problem. And that's when the real conflict hit me. This wasn't about whether I still loved Ryan. I did. It was about whether I could trust him again. Whether love could survive what silence had done to it. Whether the version of him standing in front of me now had finally grown into the man I needed the first time. And maybe most terrifying of all, if I walked away again, would I regret it for the rest of my life? It's strange how you can spend months healing, convincing yourself you've moved on. Until one look, one touch, one sentence tears it all down like it was nothing. 3 days after Ryan appeared at the project site, I got a call. Not from him, but from his mother. "Aisha Beta," she said, her voice shaky. "Can you come to the hospital? It's Ryan. He's not okay." My heart stopped. Without asking a single question, I grabbed my bag and rushed to the hospital. My brain was spinning with worst-case scenarios, but nothing could prepare me for what I saw. Ryan, pale and exhausted, hooked up 2 and 4. A minor accident. His car had slid off the road coming down from the hills. The physical injuries weren't serious, but the emotional damage was another story. I stood in the doorway, frozen. When he opened his eyes and saw me, he whispered, "You came." "I didn't come for you," I replied, though my voice betrayed me. "I came because your mother sounded scared." He gave a tired smile. Fair enough. I sat beside his bed, unsure what to say. The silence between us wasn't the same as before. This one was full of everything we hadn't said. Everything that still burned between us. Finally, he broke it. I never stopped choosing you, Aisha. I just didn't know how to fight for you the right way. And what makes you think I'm still yours to fight for? I asked, my voice breaking. You had me. And when it mattered most, you turned your back. I didn't turn my back, he said, eyes shining. I got scared. Of not being enough. Of holding you back. Of loving you more than you loved me. That hit me like a slap. You think I didn't love you enough? No, he said gently. I think you loved me too much. And I didn't know how to carry that kind of love without breaking under it. Tears welled in my eyes, but I refused to let them fall. I rebuilt myself from scratch, Ryan. Brick by brick. You don't get to just walk back in and act like the foundation you cracked can hold us now. He didn't argue. He just reached out and held my hand. Then let me rebuild it with you. Not for you. With you. I pulled away. I need time, I whispered. Not words. Not promises. Just time. He nodded, swallowing hard. Take all the time you need. I'll wait. Even if it kills me. As I left the hospital room, something inside me cracked wide open. The girl who disappeared was gone. The woman who stood now didn't need him. But maybe, just maybe, she still wanted him. And that want, that was scarier than anything. 2 weeks passed after that hospital visit. I didn't reach out, and neither did Ryan. Not because the feelings were gone, but because space was the only way to find clarity. I had started to breathe again. My project was going smoothly, my team was finally sinking, and emotionally I was inching toward peace. Until one evening Zara called, her voice unusually tight. Aisha, she said, I need to tell you something, but I didn't want to say it until I was sure. My stomach dropped. What happened? She hesitated. It's about Ryan and Alina. I closed my eyes. Zara, I've moved on from that chapter. No, listen. Alina wasn't just an ex. She wasn't just some harmless old flame. She knew exactly what she was doing. She came back because she knew he was happy with you. And worse, she wasn't alone. Now I was fully alert. What do you mean? Zara took a breath. She was working with her cousin, your old client Imran Malik. The one who dropped you last minute last year. I stiffened. That deal had cost me months of work and almost derailed my career. She knew how close you and Ryan were, Zara continued. Imran felt threatened by your rising success and influence. And Alina, she used her history with Ryan to create chaos. She wanted to destabilize you both. I was silent. She never cared about Ryan. She just wanted to shake your foundation. And when he broke up with her after you left, she vanished. Mission accomplished. I sat down slowly, my heart pounding in my chest. So this wasn't just heartbreak. This was betrayal. Calculated, deliberate, and strategic. I called Ryan. He picked up after one ring. Aisha. I didn't waste time. Did you know about Imran Malik and Alina? There was a pause, then a soft, no. What happened? I explained everything. The betrayal. The manipulation. The business fallout that nearly cost me my name. Ryan's voice cracked. She lied to me. She played me to hurt you. Yes, I whispered. And you let her. He didn't defend himself. I should have trusted you. I should have fought for you then. I didn't just lose you, Aisha. I betrayed your trust without even realizing it. For a second, I wanted to scream. To unload every ounce of pain I'd bottled up. But what came out instead was cold, quiet disappointment. You say you want a second chance. But what do we do with everything that's already broken? He responded with something I didn't expect. Then let's stop pretending it was perfect to begin with. Let's rebuild it, truthfully this time. And just as I was trying to process all this, my assistant came into the room, pale. Ma'am. There's someone here to see you. Says it's urgent. I walked into the lobby and froze. It was Alina. Smiling. Alina's smile was the kind that hit sharp edges behind lipstick. She stood in the doorway of my office like she owned the room, head tilted, designer bag on her arm, and eyes that flicked around like she was taking inventory of what I'd built in her absence. She hadn't come to apologize. I knew that the second our eyes met. Aisha, she said sweetly, You look successful. I folded my arms. Cut to the point, Alina. What do you want? She walked in slowly, heels clicking like an unwanted countdown. I just thought, before you go running back to Ryan, you should know something else. I stayed silent, giving her nothing. She took a seat, uninvited, and smirked. He didn't just choose me because of old feelings. He thought you were outgrowing him. Too ambitious. Too focused on your work. I didn't have to manipulate him much. Just reminded him how lonely you made him feel. My jaw tightened. So you admit it. You came back just to ruin what we had. She leaned in slightly. Not ruin. Remind. That love isn't always enough when ego and success get in the way. I stood still for a beat. Then walked to the door, opened it, and looked at her flatly. You came here to twist the knife, but you forgot one thing. I'm not the girl who walked away heartbroken. I'm the woman who rebuilt herself without him and without you. So if this is your grand finale, take your bow. But I'm not playing. Alina blinked just for a second before standing up with a scoff. He'll never fully choose you. Not really. I smiled softly. That's okay. Because this time I'll choose me. And with that she walked out. For good. But the storm she left behind wasn't just hers. Later that evening I met Ryan, not out of emotion but out of clarity. I needed to end this one way or another. He was waiting at the park where we used to walk during early dates. Same bench. Same gentle silence. I saw her, I said, sitting down. He looked away. I know. She told me. Did she also tell you she came back just to watch me fall? He nodded slowly. She said I let her in because I was weak. And she's not wrong. I was weak, Aisha. I was stupid. And I hurt you in ways I can never undo. The silence between us stretched until I finally spoke. I loved you beyond logic. I defended you when you were wrong. I shrank myself so you wouldn't feel small next to me. And still you left. His voice cracked. I never stopped loving you. Then why did I have to leave for you to see me? He reached for my hand, but this time I didn't pull away. I needed to feel the truth in his touch. I can't change the past, he whispered. But I will spend the rest of my life proving that I finally see you now. All of you. I didn't answer right away. I looked up at the stars instead, the same sky we used to dream under. And then I whispered, if we do this again, there's no halfway. No doubts. You walk beside me, or not at all. His eyes didn't waver. Then take my hand. Because I'm ready to walk beside you now, not as a man scared of your strength, but as one who's finally strong enough to deserve it. They say love deserves a second chance, but only when both hearts have grown. And for Ryan and me, the second chance didn't come wrapped in roses or grand gestures. It came in slow, quiet moments, in hard conversations, in choosing each other daily. After that night in the park, we didn't rush. We took things slow. Dinner once a week, calls that didn't revolve around the past, and long walks where silence was finally comfortable. Ryan didn't try to win me back. He worked on himself. He got therapy. He made peace with his past and stopped avoiding the parts of him that once sabotaged our love. And me? I stopped shrinking. I took on bigger projects, expanded my design firm. I stopped apologizing for being ambitious, for dreaming out loud, for wanting both love and success. And Ryan, he stood beside me, this time without flinching. It wasn't easy. Healing never is. There were moments of doubt, of hesitation, but we never avoided the hard talks again. And slowly trust began to rebuild, not because we forced it but because we earned it. A few months later, we returned to that same hill station where everything had started falling apart. This time it wasn't raining. The sky was clear, the wind gentle. And as we stood on the balcony of the hotel I'd helped design, he turned to me with a soft smile. You know, he said, I never understood your strength until I almost lost it forever. I laughed, leaning into his side. You didn't lose it. You just had to learn how to carry it with you. And that was the moment I realized. We weren't going back to what we were. We were building something new. Something real. Because when you disappear without drama, sometimes it's not to punish the one who broke your heart. It's to protect the version of yourself that deserves better. And if they come back, they better come back ready. Or not at all. Ryan came back ready. And this time, I stayed.